жизней продолжает осваивать человек. В Советском Союзе впервые в истории осуществлен выход человека из корабля в космическое пространство. Это подлинно.
Wow, so anyone who says Russia isn't in on faking space really only needs to look at this video, which is allegedly the first person ever in space in an EVA, extravehicular asshattery, or whatever that stands for. EVA, a cosmonaut, and this is what convinced the world that people could go in space and float around and pretend to do important science. Yeah, even gives himself a little scratch on the.
В Советском Союзе впервые в истории осуществлен выход человека из корабля в космическое пространство. Это подлинно.
How absolutely ridiculous this footage is, and yet this is the sort of thing that led NASA to their fakery, because hell, if the Russians are doing it, we ought to do it as well, right, NASA? Give me a break. But of course this doesn't just go for Russia, because you can see clear evidence of Chinese fakery, and you can see this video up online of the first Chinese extravehicular asshattery, EVA, complete with air bubbles in space and apparent chroma key glitches.
There he is.
Well, we see the helmet. We can see the helmet of Zhai Zhigang with the background of the Earth. He is sticking his helmet out of the capsule. And the first task when he is outside is to transfer some experimental materials to the module. Well, we see Zhai Zhigang. Is to transfer some experimental materials to the module. Well, we see Zhai Zhigang. And we can.
So the first thing I'm going to zoom in on here is this appears to be a chroma key glitch to me. Let's invert that. You can see right in the corner where the paneling sort of meets the craft itself. It's a wide angle at the top. You can just see throughout the whole video, you see that chroma key glitching going on. And another thing you see throughout this video is air bubbles in space coming out of their helmets and coming out of the craft. So this clearly demonstrates that space is fake, even in China.
Some drama at NASA now. There will be several spacewalks who attend to a major problem, and this time they're using snorkels while they do it. Snorkels while they do it. Snorkels while they do it. Snorkels while they do it.
Free breathing in the helmet gives you quite a bit of freedom of motion in the vehicle. So it's a lot nicer than hanging on the wall for 3 hours in the suit.
That's a little sound slate. A lot of movie production, big movie production going on this flight.
Snorkels while they do it.
A lot of movie production, big movie production going on this flight.
Snorkels while they do it. Snorkels while they do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Snorkels while they do it.
Here's some more footage of that same Chinese spacewalk where we just saw the air bubble. And there's just ejecta bubbles flying all out of this damn thing. In fact, if you go and look at the very first sequence when he opens up the hatch, little pieces of the thing are just flying all over the damn place.
Snorkels while they do it.
I presume it must be a very different and enlightening experience for anyone to have been in outer space. Mm-hmm. It's totally different, enlightening experience for anyone to have been being in outer space.
Yet another example of ejecti, or possible bubbles, and foreign objects coming from that same Chinese spacewalk.
Got main engines at 108%.
Avionics power nominal.
Right, so in this clip of United States NASA astronaut fakery, what you're going to see is a little hard to catch, but you actually get a reflection, like whomever's filming this is standing either behind a pane of glass or filming this, you know, through like a television screen. You see the reflection there. It's now passing up, just went out of frame, and there's another one coming up. You can sort of tell that whoever was filming that was behind a pane of glass or something. So look at it again, zoom in this time, slow it down a bit. Possibly seeing some reflection over to the right, bottom right of him right there, but definitely right here is when you can start to see it popping in. Reflection traveling up his body apparently. You go back and look at it in the full frame, it's pretty clear that this is some sort of pre-CGI trickery that they were using.
The possibility that trouble may develop with the Atlas or the Redstone during the countdown or during the takeoff is looked squarely in the eye by the astronauts and the engineers behind Project Mercury. This booster was not a Mercury vehicle, but imagine the worst possible situation for the astronaut, that his capsule is now mounted on top of this Atlas. The escape rocket takes the capsule away from the booster.
Alright, so here you've got this astrolayer allegedly orbiting around the Earth in space, and he's holding on to this pole to brace himself, and of course the pole is going directly square through the palm of his hand. This is clearly a glitch in their CGI, whatever trickery they're using to fool people into thinking that they're actually up in space and weightless, unable to really fake how he's grabbing onto that pole. They just stick it right through his hand. Nobody will notice. Just stick it right through his hand. I mean, give me a damn break here. In this video here, you can see Liar-Nauts clearly grabbing a hold of one another's harness wires in order to stabilize each other. I'll reverse that clip a bit so you can see that he's clearly not grabbing onto anything that's supposed to be there. He's grabbing onto something invisible, but you can tell that there is a reaction between the guy wearing the blue and the other guy's hand. Something's going on here, but we're not able to see it, either because of some sort of chroma key, CGI, green screening, something like that. But yet another instance of NASA fakery. Let's not forget this guy, clearly on wires, flying around in the background of the ISS. Should I say the LISS? I would say this here is pretty good evidence of NASA using some sort of CGI or virtual reality to fake their live stream stuff. In that clip, it really looks like the guy is supposed to be grabbing the hat, and for whatever reason the animators failed to complete the sequence, so he's sort of grabbing and placing nothing to the side. Okay, this clip really doesn't seem like much, but if you look a little deeper into it, it shows that they're using some sort of a technology beyond simple video editing. They're using a green screen. As you can see, she apparently grabs this item, this object that's supposed to be in the shot with her after she grabs it, and she plays around with it later on. But in order to get it to seem to appear like that, they would have either had to take one shot of her without the little monster thing in the shot and have her moving around and talking, and then cut the tape, cut the camera, place the thing there in the shot, and then have her try to stand as still as possible between changing the scenery, and have her grab that object as fluidly as possible. Now, unless you got it perfect, cut it to exactly where she was standing before you placed the object into the scene, you would get like a chopping effect. It would you'd be missing some frames of the animation. But you don't get any of that there, and in fact, when she's going to grab the object, the motion is very fluid, and you can tell that they didn't stop the camera, place the object in the set, then start rolling the camera to get that effect. They're using something else, and the fact that she's able to move fluidly while the thing's appearing is a testament to that fact.
Neuf, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, unité, feu. Allumage. Décollage. Tous les paramètres propulsifs sont normaux et la trajectoire est normale.
37 seconds into the launch, the onboard computers decided 501 was 90 degrees off course.
Our patch, the hardest thing in the whole mission was to figure out what the patch was going to be like. And the night before launch, going out, launch morning, after breakfast, everybody anxious to get strapped into the vehicle. We did have to get used to getting up very early to support the early schedule. There you see our trash bag, or one of them. Just like at home, I have to have a wastebasket.
By the end of the mission, there were literally trash bags floating around the cockpit.
The alien creeping into the picture at the upper part of the screen is one pre-breathing Army Lieutenant Colonel.
We ran the cabin pressure from 14.7 down to 10.2 psi about a day before the EVA, so that Bob and I could then depressurize from 10.2 down to 4.3 in the suit without risk of the bends. It greatly improved the flow of EVA operations, and I was even able to work on the checklist some while pre-breathing with the launch and entry helmet.
Anyone who believes that NASA or Russian cosmonauts or Chinese or Japanese or any kind of race, color, or creed astronauts are actually up in space orbiting around, then why would they have to use trick photography and really quite cheesy video editing in order to trick people into believing that they're up there. Absolute nonsense.
Separate from the spacecraft.
Ed White is flying at 17,000 miles per hour, 200 miles above the Earth.
Okay, I'm out.
If the spacesuit fails, the difference in pressure will kill him instantly. If the lifeline fails, he'll literally be lost in space.
The International Space Station's cabin pressure is holding steady after the crew conducted repair work on one of 2 Russian Soyuz spacecraft attached to the complex. The repair was made to address a leak that had caused a minor reduction of station pressure. The crew was never in any danger.
If the spacesuit fails, the difference in pressure will kill him instantly. If the lifeline fails, he'll literally be lost in space.
After a morning of investigations, the crew reported that the leak was isolated to a hole about 2 millimeters in diameter in the orbital compartment or upper section of the Soyuz MS-09 spacecraft. Flight controllers in Houston and Moscow worked together with the crew to effect a repair option in which Soyuz commander Sergei Prokopyev used epoxy on a gauze wipe to plug the hole identified as the leak source.
In 1960, this guy, Joe Kittinger, apparently jumped from about 100,000 foot, and the footage that he brought back was not very good, like didn't have very good shots of the horizon, although when it does, you get these little instants, little glimpses of the flat horizon, and then of course the curved fisheye lens globe effect, which we know that they were lying about because now pretty much anyone can send up a weather balloon to over 100,000 foot in the air, and we don't see this curve horizon that's supposed to magically happen when you get up to a certain altitude.
Launch, copy, deployed. Moving along the trajectory, 10 degrees lower. Copy.
In this video of Russian cosmonauts, you can see that the fisheye lens technique was not quite perfected, because instead of a spherical ball Earth, we get this sort of strange square-shaped, I don't even know what you call that, like parallelogram? I don't know. But yeah, to anyone out there who wants to go claiming that, you know, NASA couldn't be faking space because then Russia would have to know about it or something, or Russia would have to fake space, well, here you go. Russia's just as bad as NASA. Space is just as fake in Russia or China as it is everywhere else.
Okay, I'm space. Okay, my feet are out. I think I'm dry, so I don't want to fire the gun yet. Okay, I'm out.
Okay, now, hold cover 3.
Okay, roll, right out. Now in your seatbelt. Don't worry, I'll look at you. Okay, I rolled up, roll right now. Under my own influence. Looks like a thermal glove.
You notice that in this live broadcast, he's basically facing up into space, and then somehow the glove gets loosed from inside the Limobile, and he notices it immediately and says, "Oh, there goes my glove." He wasn't even looking anywhere near that direction. Wouldn't his glove shouldn't that be on his hand, by the way? But anyway, wouldn't that glove be the least of his concerns when he's out flying around in space?
Under my own influence, there goes a... Looks like a thermal glove, Jim. It is. Yeah, I rolled up and I'm rolling to the right now. Under my own influence, there goes a... Looks like a thermal glove, Jim. It is.
I mean, really, how scripted is that? It's clearly something scripted, because he never would have noticed that glove, especially not the direction he was looking. This is something that was animated, and then a script was recorded over top of that. Anyone who believes this sort of complete shenanigans is proof of people traveling around in space should probably get their head checked. One of the biggest things that all astronauts can't seem to agree on is whether or not you can see the stars from space.
The environment around you is just pitch black, is as black as it can get.
On the day side of Earth, Earth is so bright that your eyes iris down and you can't see the stars. But on the night side of Earth,
it's just black.
No, you're actually, you feel like you're floating among the stars. They're all around you. They're not twinkling at all.
We were never able to see stars from the lunar surface or on the daylight side of the moon by eye without looking through the optics. I don't recall during the period of time that we were photographing the solar corona what stars we could see. I don't remember seeing any.
The heavens are 10 times as bright, stars 10 times as numerous, because there's no atmosphere to block the light.
When you looked up at the sky, could you actually see the stars and the solar corona?
I don't remember seeing any.
That's a great question. The most unexpected thing, I think, was the blackness of space, because we always talk about seeing the view of planet Earth and how beautiful it is, and so you come to expect that. But what people don't mention that much is just when you look the opposite direction, and you see how dark space is. I mean, it's the blackest black, and you realize just how small the Earth is in that blackness, and that was a real surprise to me.
When I look out at the stars and I see, so many stars and planets, and know that, we have a place in the universe, and it's part of our job is to explore that place.
Whilst in space,
Have you ever looked away from Earth into the black void?
Yeah. So
yeah,
because you
time.
can see, because you can see the stars.
Oh yeah.
You know, and pretty much all the time you can see the stars.
Yeah. It's not a black void. I mean, it's black, but there's all kinds of little polka dots.
There's all the stars there, and the cool thing is about it, you can see it during the day.
Yeah, you can, and there's more than stars. You can see planets. You can see moons.
You see the gas. Magellan clouds of the
Milky
Way
you see
galaxy.
The Magellanic clouds.
Magellanic. See, I just wanted the Magellan
there's a large
clouds.
one and a small one, right?
Yeah.
And then you can see the zodiacal light.
Whoa.
But could you tell us something about what the sky actually looks like from the moon, the sun, the earth, the stars, if any, and so on?
The sky is a deep black. When viewed from the moon, as it is when viewed from cislunar space, the space between the Earth and the moon.
The sky is almost white with the light of the universe, with the uncountable number of stars. But it has a lot of variation to it, even just with the naked eye, when we're in the shade of the Earth, so we can really see it. You can see the whole dark sections where there's dark matter or dust or whatever it is that's between us and the rest of the universe. You can see the gradations of it, like looking into the deepest ocean.
What are the stars like in space? Like, are they just brighter than on Earth, or how would you describe it?
They're brighter, but they're different. And a lot of things different about them. One, you don't have the atmospheric distortion, so they don't twinkle, right? So you see lots of points. And you see lots of points, and that literally millions of them. There's, the thing about Carl Sagan, billions of stars. There really are billions and billions of stars, and you can see them. In fact, they're so numerous, it's very difficult to pick out the constellations you and I see here on the ground.
With the world right there, and then when you look the other way, it's the whole universe, and the blackness is a palpable blackness. It's not just dark. It's forever, and the guy named Paul Fjeld designed our mission patch, and he's had a really nice design. And he said, "What color do you want for the background?" And we said black, but really black. And he said, "What do you mean really black?" I said, "Well, I don't know, black as you can make it." So he hit the black as you can make it. And we went, "Well, that's black, but it's not the same as the endlessness of the universe."
You don't see stars in the daytime on Earth, not because they're not there, but because the atmosphere is aglow with scattered light from the sun. If you take away the atmosphere, the sun will still be there, but the sky goes dark. That's what the folks get when they go to the edge of the atmosphere, and they're calling that the edge of space. But when you get to the edge of the atmosphere is no longer between you and the rest of the universe, and the stars reveal themselves just as they would at night. Since the moon has no atmosphere, then a daytime picture, if you're there in the daytime of the moon, you see a full night sky of stars, even with the sun in the sky as well.
Just hanging there in a vast sea of darkness, and the most frightening darkness that you could ever imagine.
The sunlight washes out all the starlight, so you can't see any stars, just like here on Earth.
Just the inherent beauty of it, the velvet, bottomless bucket of the universe.
The sky, of course, was black, but it had sort of a velvet sheen to it.
The biggest visual surprise was just how black the sky was. You have a brilliant sun, brighter than any sun you normally would see, even here in New Mexico. You have these extraordinarily high mountains. We were in a valley deeper than the Grand Canyon. But then you have this black sky, a sky blacker than black, as the old Vidicon expression used to be.
I'm trying to explain the difference between darkness, when you turn out the lights and it's dark in here, or blackness. Blackness is the endlessness of it all. It's hard to comprehend.
Well, the sign on the bottom of the gondola was, "This is the highest step in space." Think about being at 102,000 feet. It was a very interesting experience for me to sit there and look at the horizon, and I could see over 400 miles from that altitude. My guy on the ground said, "Okay, we're over the position, you're cleared to jump."
and I jumped. I fell for, it seemed like I wasn't moving at all. There was no crest, no velocity. There's nothing you could see. So I rolled over my back, I looked up, and I saw the balloon flying into space.
Grande essa porra, viu? Deixa eu ver que é tamanho do... Ah, mas não vai só a luz. Não, isso aí vai normal. Lona tem muita ainda, cara. Lona e lona pra quem quiser aí. Quero só da cor. A coisa pra botar no caminhão, ó. Isso aí não serve. Alguém tem uma faca aí na cinta? Vamos ver se nós tira direito aqui. Até falar esse bicho pra lá. Vamos puxar ele pra lá? Quero só a corda. Vamos puxar ele pra lá? Não, tira ele pra aqui.
What was your role with I was in quality control. I tested everything before the astronauts would come in the spacecraft, and that's what I'm doing in that one picture there. I'm firing these rockets right here on the service module. This is the Apollo without the first and second stage rocket.
How did you acquire this particular model?
Oh, it was given to me years ago. I just earned it, and then so I just started getting all the astronauts to sign it.
You've captured 15 astronaut signatures on the capsule portion of this.
Right.
And so you were friends with them all? And
I was good friends with them. I met him in the early 60s. We had to go through classes together, so I got to know them on a personal basis. And they're crazy guys, so we had a lot of fun.
Okay, and then this was a North American Aviation Apollo spacecraft model. It's the executive model. Is what it's referred to as.
And then we built it to their specifications.
Okay, now let's talk about this burnt up sticker.
What happens is when the spacecraft would come back to Downey, we would strip them all down, take all this stuff off them and make them pretty. And so this arrow, which is right here, they were scraping all this stuff off. They were throwing it away in a big pile, so I just gave it to me. This label was, another guy gave that to me, and he gave it to me because I was the final person to stamp saying, hey, we got a good product. This is the serial number 107. So we called it 107, and then when it went to the Cape, it became Apollo 11 in this case.
So that's the serial number sticker.
Yes.
Off of the Apollo 11 command module.
Yes.
You realize that space nerds everywhere are going crazy right now.
Start videos too much. Everybody knows that you can't show these kids. Stop showing these things right now.
Well, I hope so.
Have you ever had it appraised, or you have any clue as to what these things might be worth?
None at all.
Space stuff is hot. So the first thing I want to talk about is the jacket. So that was your jacket. You paid $40 for it.
Yes.
You just don't see these. If I estimated at auction today, I would guess it would sell for between $3,000 and $5,000.
Okay.
This model is the executive model. They have come up at auction before. They have not come up with the signatures that you have. We see there's Walt Cunningham, there's Buzz Aldrin. Right up here, ever so faint, is Neil Armstrong.
Yes.
We see Alan Shepard. Alan's one of the most well-known astronauts, but his signature's not worth that much because he signed so much stuff. It's fantastic. So if we estimated this at auction today, I think conservatively, it would carry an estimate between $20,000 and $30,000.
Okay. I don't know if I really want to know that. It just sits in my man cave.
That's a nice thing to have in the man cave.
Yes, yes.
We have the rescue sticker, and then this was the serial number label off the inside of the capsule door. If we offered the two stickers together, you would see those with an estimate of between $30,000 and $50,000.
Okay. I'm donating this to my niece, so she'll be happy to hear that.
The total here would be between $53,000 and $85,000.
That's amazing.
Hey, the Earth is down here. Oh, yeah. Okay. So I get back and do some more things. And I had another rest period.
Well, you're talking to the wrong guy. Why don't you talk to the administrator at NASA? We're passengers. We're guys going on a flight.
So this time I took one foot out and did a little agility, and I looked, uh-oh, the Earth's not there. Oh, there it is up there.
You're the one who said you walked on the moon when you didn't. Calling the kettle black, if I ever thought of it. Saying I misrepresented myself.
Away from me.
You're a coward and a liar and a thief.
It's humans out there. It's humans out here. It's humans on the frontier. It's humans out there. It's humans out here. It's humans on the frontier.
Why don't you just put the end to the record in the argument and put your hand on the Bible, swear to God you walked on the moon.
Mr. Seibel, knowing you, that's probably a fake Bible.
When I opened the hatch, I mean, I had the whole universe in front of me. It was spectacular. I mean, the shadows in her uncle, I don't give a damn about all that shit.
I don't hit people, but you're going to be on the deck unless you get
I'm heading out. I appreciate it.
And get the hell out of my house.
Well, I hate your stuff and get the fuck out. Why don't you quote me and say it's bullshit?
You want me to knock you in the head?
Well, I want you to swear to God on the Bible that you walked on the moon.
Okay?
If you walked on the moon, we're given the opportunity to swear to God that you walked on the moon.
I'm going to give you the opportunity to get the hell knocked out of you if you don't leave me alone.
Watching them lie through their teeth, carrying on a hoax that is so outrageous that they're beyond human. They couldn't cover it up. They were just too human.
Exactly. You can see on Neil Armstrong particularly. He doesn't want to lie. This guy just doesn't want to lie. No. He's looking down. He just doesn't want to say anything. This is why he didn't give any interviews for the rest of his life.
Look at that. Please do look at that, folks. YouTube video of the first Apollo crew to come back at press conference. It's really embarrassing. I mean, it's just embarrassing. The lie was so big that they really couldn't fake it that well. It was too much for them.
And I saw this footage. It's dated by an atomic clock 3 days into the flight. All the astronauts are identified, and they're there putting the transparency over the window. They're clearly pretending to be halfway to the moon when they're not halfway to the moon.
That is bullshit. I don't care what you say. I went to the moon and back, and everyone that's a scientist knows it. Now, if you want to not believe it, it's okay, you know? It's okay. It's a better story. It just happens to be a lie, that's all.
Would you swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon?
I'm not going to do it because I'll do it over here. I won't do it on your camera.
Well, why not?
Because it just isn't an appropriate thing to do.
Well,
but you're an asshole to do that. You're the same guys, just different guys that did the other person I told you about.
Well, would you put your hand on, if you walked on the moon, here's the opportunity to set the record straight, to put your left hand on the Bible.
Left hand.
Raise your right hand.
Okay.
And you realize this can be used as a video deposition in the future. And if you lie, you'll be guilty of perjury.
I understand that.
Okay. Say your name.
My name is Alan Bean.
I swear to God and affirm.
I swear to God and affirm.
Under penalty of perjury.
Under penalty of perjury.
Treason.
Treason. No, not treason. Treason has nothing to do with it. Let me rephrase this and say, I've got my hand on the Bible. I went to the moon. I walked on the moon. All the other people that you think are people that NASA says went to the moon and walked on the moon
but you won't
go to the moon and walk on the moon.
You won't say under penalty of treason.
What's treasonous?
That's doing something fraudulent to the taxpayers.
That's crap.
Well, what
that
about
isn't treason.
Under penalty of eternal damnation?
Under penalty of eternal damnation.
And under penalty of treason?
Treason is when you sell out your country.
Well, if you used $135 billion to not go to the moon.
That's still not treason. Treason is if you tell secrets to another thing. I said enough. Now you can use that and say, well, you didn't say something else. No. I know how people are. It's okay. Well, take your stuff and get the fuck out.
Like a boss.
Then you sort of poke your head out, flip around, and you take a look around, and you know, it's really a holy moly kind of moment.
That was when I first learned, I think, the definition of what it truly is to be alone.
Being in space, being in Earth orbit, floating is truly a magical experience.
It means an exciting day. It means it's a day that it's going to be a lot of work, but very rewarding work.
Alright everyone, that wraps up the video for today. Hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to help me keep making videos, I sure could use your help. You can support this channel through Patreon or through PayPal. Links on the screen and in the description. Thanks so much everybody. God bless you all, and as always, spread the word, spread the world, and peace out everybody.
Make the earth shake. Make the earth shake.